Okay, welcome to the Zones All Access, episode 21, hosted by the Sports Center. But tonight I'm in the garage with dirt driver David Clark. But before we begin, I need to thank our team of marketing partners, including our premier partners, Whitaker Insurance Agency, J&S Concrete Pumping, Value RX Pharmacy, Tazewell, Tennessee, Walker & Walker Construction, Hearthside Bank, and Stay and Play, Doggy Daycare, Grooming, and more. As always, communications provided by First Century Bank. Thanks for coming all the way down here in the garage, David. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Let's get a little bit of background on you. Let's talk about your mom and dad first.
My mama. Well, as everybody knows, my mom, that's the railroad. She's my rock. She's always been my rock. She's been all over the United States watching me race four-wheelers for a long time, and she always goes. And Dad, of course, he's always the football coach, and everybody knows him, Big Ed. He started the Little League program in our county. You know, he's always been into that. And we just kind of bumped heads a little because I didn't want to play sports. I wanted to race. But, you know, it's all worked out.
Okay. What about yourself? You raised and born here?
Born and raised here.
Yeah.
Lived on Cedar Fork my whole life.
Okay. You said you wasn't really interested in sports, but did you play anything?
Yeah, I played, of course, Little League stuff, you know, with Dad. I played all the way through 8th grade, and then I quit. I was done with that. And played golf, loved golf, still play a little, but not that great at it, but I still play.
Maybe you're third best in the family?
Well,
or is that stretching it?
You know, it's like everything else, you know. We all say we're the best. So, I mean, obviously Michael, my son, he's obviously the best, but I'm not going to ever tell him that.
Okay. Did you have a favorite athlete growing up, and why?
My favorite was always Scott Blomqvist. I always liked Scott Blomqvist. Just his whole persona, the whole, I'm the greatest. You know, that's his whole attitude. I'm the greatest.
He was.
And he was. I mean, so I always liked that. To me, I didn't. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's so cocky. He's so cocky."
Oh, yeah.
But it's not cocky when you can back it up. I mean, you know, he says I'm the greatest, and then he comes out and shows you he's the greatest. So I always liked that.
Who introduced you to racing?
Actually, probably Richard Bailey. I lived with him for a few years when I was having some troubles at home, and he took care of me. And not actually, let's back up. Actually, I guess it was probably the Petty family first. I can't remember; it's been a long time ago. But I always hung out with Tater and Doc and all them. You know, I worked for Doc for 100 years, and they always took me to racing. Pap, he'd always come and get me on Saturdays and take me to go-kart racing. And I'd always laugh because I'd say, Pap, are we qualifying? Because anybody knew Pap Petty, honey. His little Datsun 210, and you literally thought you was qualifying on the way to the racetrack because he didn't cut no slack.
Did you love it at first sight?
I always loved racing. Always.
You got a bit early. You got broke early.
I remember being, I don't know, 8 or 10-year-old and getting my tail beat off because I drew a racetrack in the carpet with magic markers. And I had, of course, Hot Wheel cars, and I made me a racetrack, and I raced. I mean, that's...
Roro said no?
Roro did not approve of the racetrack in the carpet.
Okay. Lesson learned there.
Yes.
We talked about your favorite driver, but explain a little bit more why Bloomer was your guy.
He's just always, being around him and stuff, if you ever knew Bloomer personally, he's not what everybody thought, and he was one of those, James Lane, for example, we were at a race with him, he said, I don't like him. I'm like, why? He's like, well, he's a butthole. I said, no, he's not. He's like, well, I tried to talk to him one time, he wouldn't talk to me. I said, well, you got to understand, he's at work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he shows up to the racetrack, that's his job. That's how he makes a living. And I said, but come talk to him after the race, and we'll see. We were at Bulls Gap, so we went over after the race. Of course, Scott's handing out Crown Royal, and, you know, everybody's having a big time. And James got to see the other side of him after the race when he's not at work. And James like, oh, I see now, and I like him. And it's just, he was always good to me. He was good to my kids. He always paid attention to my kids, and to me that means a lot,
Yeah.
a whole lot.
What year approximately did you decide you wanted to try driving?
Oh man, I guess it was. Ooh, man, I don't even know. 2005 maybe.
I was going to say mid 2000s.
I think it was 2005. And what happened was, we had been to Clarksville Speedway for the Street Stock Nationals, whatever. And I had Robbie Buchanan at the time. And he'd started in the back. He made it to third and spun himself out. Went to the back, come back up, made it third, spun himself out again. And I was fussing at him about it. And he said, I wished you had a car and would drive one time. That way you'd see. And I said, you know what, I believe I will. And I went the next week and bought me a car. And then I bought one for Leonard Bray. I bought everything Leonard had. And then they was giving me a hard time. Yeah, we're going to see. So then I went and bought Alan Holt's car. So I knew I had a better car. I said, because I've got to prove myself right off the bat. So I bought Alan's car, and then I put the two together. I took the motor out of Leonard's car and put in Alan's car and went racing.
So that was what you drove was the number one
Yes.
Chevrolet modified street.
Light blue with the pink number.
Yep.
And modified street at Tazewell.
First race was at Tazewell, correct?
Yes.
How did it go?
Well, the bet was that I couldn't qualify in the 14 seconds. That was everybody's bet. And so I took everybody's bet, and I went up, I don't remember, like a 1390 or something. So I was pretty good. I think I qualified sixth that night. I was right behind Clyde Overholt. That's one of my best friends, you know. So I took everybody's dollar, and just so everybody knows, I still have, there might have been a 5. I still have it, whatever it was, but they all signed them. I made them all sign them, and I still have them in my stuff somewhere.
That's great. How did the finish go?
I finished where I started. I finished right behind Clyde. I followed Clyde. I don't remember. It seemed like it was finished 5th or 6th, so it wasn't too bad.
First win, what car, what class?
Same car, same class. I think it was the same year, or maybe the following. I can't really remember. It was, is it Smoky Mountain? And it was the Moonshine Classic. And actually, me and Matt Mahan actually won, but he had a big cheated up motor in, and they were teching cars, and he didn't even go to tech. He said, I come here for one reason and one reason only. But me and him finished really close, but we lapped almost the whole field, and they were all really mad. But my stuff was legal, his wasn't, and so I passed tech and done all my stuff, and I still got the trophy. They got one of them big moonshine barrels, and it's really cool. And
sounds like a cool trophy. Who helped you back then?
Let's see. I had James Brooks and Cody Noah. That was of course, Clyde. Clyde's always helped me. Brad Davis has always helped me. And just everybody's kind of buddy, and everybody kind of helps.
Now you're doing open wheel modifieds. Do you like them better than the street stocks or the modified street?
100%. The modifieds it's just they're wilder. I've said go out and kick a bull in the sack and hold on. I mean that's what driving a modified's like. It's just out of hand. It's wild. They're 750 plus horsepower on an 8-inch tire. and it's get it all. I mean, it's a rush. I like
Well, then my next question was, did it appeal to you the first time you got in one?
No,
Evidently, it did.
It scared me.
Oh.
It really. I've not been scared in a race car very much, but the first time I thought, boy, I have messed up because it was a lot. It was a lot. I hadn't been. I drove late model stuff too, and of course you go from modified street stuff. They don't move around a lot. They're heavy and big, and you do, and then you get into the late models move some, but open wheels move around a lot, like a whole lot, and they're just always on the edge, and it was a little intimidating to start with.
I always wondered why you didn't go into a late model.
I drove. I had
A little bit, but you went away from
I hate
it.
them. I hate them. Which our race cars are about to get to that point now, but the late models are designed to go in a circle, and now they're all cookie cutter cars. You buy one, you call and you say, this is what I want. They send you a sheet on everything to do to it. You put it together and you go win races. I mean, everybody can win in one. They're just, wow. It's not as fun to me you don't build nothing or work on nothing, or they just not.
Do you remember when you put the big green man on the car, and why did you do it?
Well, that design was actually for Doc Pitt. He came up with that design. He always designed my race cars. He came up with it for his car, and we were working one day, and he says, I've been thinking about it. I got mad about something. Somebody made me mad repoing, and I swelled up, something or another. He said, I've been thinking about this all day. He said, when you got mad after a while ago, he said, you literally look like the Hulk. He's like, and it would be wrong for me to put the Hulk on my car, and it needs to be on yours. And I said, Doc, I am not putting green on my race car. He's like, yeah, we're going to do that. And I said, I'm just not going to. And then that winter, while we were rebuilding, me and Wade, he helped me for a long time.
So you're old school, green bad at racetracks.
Oh, yeah. Green is horrible. Well, the year before, we had tore our car up. It was pink. It was, it was just bad luck. We couldn't finish a race. It was something all the time. And we were watching a race on TV, and I said, man, I think it's my number. I've been number one this whole time. I ran it because of Wayne Overall. That's what number we always run. And I said, I believe our number's bad luck. Well, we was watching the race, and somebody wrecked. It was number one. A few minutes, somebody turned over. It was a number one. One caught on fire. It was a number one. I said, Wade, we're changing our number. And he said, let's be 13. And I said, oh, man. I said, 13? He's like, 13. He said, and we'll double it up. Let's do green and 13. That way we get double bad luck. And I was like, well, maybe it'll be good. He said, man, we got to do it. And I said, okay. Well, as soon as he said it, I called Doc and said, hey, I want the hook. He's like, all right. I said, Buck, I want you to draw me up a green race car. He said, do what? I said, I want black and green and white race number. And it'd be number 13. He's like, I'm not doing that. I said, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And then that's what we did, and we won several that year.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Since then. You mentioned the significance of the number one. Talk about it a little bit more. And who was it you named it after?
Wayne Overall.
Wayne Overall, yeah.
Wayne Overall taught me more about race cars than any human being ever has.
Won a lot of races.
Me and Wayne won a lot of races together. And, of course, then I helped Clyde. We also won. Because I would rather work on them as I would drive. I like to work on them. I like to make them fast and go fast. And I like to learn about them. I study. I can't read real good, but I can read that kind of stuff. And I really, really enjoy it. And Wayne, he's always been my buddy. We've been buddies a long, long time. And we won a bunch of races together.
Explain to me how it felt to every weekend, or mostly all the time, really, being around Brad Davis, Chris Collinsworth, Robbie Buchanan, and all the Petties.
Well,
what was that like?
Here's how this all worked. I worked on their cars. I helped kind of everybody. And as everybody knows, Chris always walked around with the red Solo Cup. Well, I am the man that produced the liquid beverage that goes in the red Solo Cup. So that was my main thing every weekend is have to mix the drinks. And So it was always it was fun. We really, really had a good time. They battled hard, and they would, and like Brad talked about last one, get me tickled because Chris would, oh man, he would go and he would stir stuff between all of them, and then all thinking it was somebody else because Chris was so innocent.
Yeah.
Nobody would say that. But when Brad talked about the nitrous deal, it wasn't him and Goatman, it was me and Chris. And what he kept talking about was, well, I got it all hooked up because I was always the nitrous king. I run it on everything I ever had. But I hooked it up and I was over. We were trying to keep it from Brad, and he was one bay over, so we're over working. And so I'm over and I'm clicking the solenoid on the nitrous. And Brad started, he said, I wish you had put a battery in that piece of crap. He said, I'm tired of hearing it click because he thought we was trying to click the starter. And I was like, yeah. I said, Chris, you need to beat on the starter. I said, this thing ain't going to start. And we laughed and laughed and laughed. And Brad never did figure it out. And then the buffer deal, we hit his buffer.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to get him out of the shop. So he drove to Middlesboro to get another buffer. And we finished up the nitrous stuff and got it all working, got it all hooked up. And when he got back, we put his buffer back up there. And I thought, Brad, your buffer's been laying right there. And so it was just kind of, but we got him out of the shop. So that's what matters.
What other stories can you tell?
Oh, I can't tell any. There's so many. We've had so much. I mean, we've really, over the years, just so much fun. And Brad is the biggest competitor. And I tell everybody, he's the biggest butthole in the world. But he's helped me more than anybody ever has. And people always say, people that want to see you win will help you win. Brad Davis has helped me win a bunch.
Yeah.
He's given me parts, and I say, Brad, I'm going to beat you this weekend with these parts. It's okay. It's okay. And I literally have. He's given me tires because I didn't have the money to buy tires. He gave me tires off of his race car.
Yeah.
And said, show me that you can beat me with them.
Ooh.
And I would.
No.
And he was the first one there. He always just super good with me. Super good.
Going back to Chris. I mean, he's the stories I tell, he's always been the instigator, but like you said, nobody really thought it was him.
He would start more crap and just laugh and laugh. And he'd call and he'd be like, I guess what I did.
Oh, no.
But he was so bad. He would mess up Brad. So, because Brad's so hot-headed. Him letting her out of his tires, he would do it every week. And he would do stuff, and I remember one time he put a ratchet on Brad's jack rope and just stuck it on there and left it. And Brad come in and come unglued because they've been adjusting on my car. Nobody touched this. Nobody was going to do that. And he made him put it on the scales again. And he said, well, I don't know what they did, but they've done something, And then Chris said, man, I can't believe they'd do that. But Chris is the kind of guy, he would hide your stuff from you and then help you look for it. I mean, he would, and just laugh the whole time.
All right, well, let's talk really serious now. The day Chris had his accident, what were you doing, and how did, I mean, it took me almost to my knees. How did it affect you?
I literally got off the phone with him 5 minutes before that. We were talking. He was going by Donnie's, and we're talking, and he said, man, I'm going back up here at this place again. I hate this place. Everybody knew he hated it. He didn't ever want to go up there. And, we talked about it. And I said, just be careful. They love you, And, then the next call I get is Donnie saying, get up there, get up there, get up there,
Yeah, we all miss him.
No.
Tell one story about the 77 that you can talk about here. Well, we kind of talked about the mischievous, like everyone thought, but was he mischievous to other racers too? Not just the group.
No, like he would start stuff like, the Hortons. Everybody knows, they had a battle with the Hortons, and them boys would go on, and Chris he would start stuff, and he would tell people stuff and get stuff started, but he didn't care. I mean, he would just something all the time. I mean, he wouldn't. I don't say he done nothing mean or nothing. just to pick at people. He was more of a just pick at you to get you going. He wasn't trying to start a fight with you. Although, I mean, he didn't care.
He
but,
didn't care.
I mean, he'd always say, "You got my back, don't you?" So you know I got you back. And then it's on. It didn't matter then, you know. But no, he didn't ever like. I didn't help him as much on his race car. He was more. I was helping Robin and then mainly, and he was doing his own thing, and then I was just kind of just back and forth. But he kind of doing his own thing, and then the night he won, finally he won. I was at work. I worked at the jail then, and he called. He said, "Hey Dick, I won." I was like, "You won?" He's like, "I won." I said, "Heck yeah!" I said, "Which motor did you have in?" "We ain't gonna talk about that, but I won and I didn't get caught." He said, "That's all he said." I was like, "That's all that matters, as long as you won."
All right. I'm going to give you a chance to look back in time and thank everyone you wanted to thank. You want to
Lord,
thank.
I can't. People don't realize how much help. Okay, let's talk about sponsorship. Everybody thinks sponsorship is just about money, and to an extent it is. But I've had people give me product. Okay, we have people that give service. They have a business that does service.
Mm-hmm.
They supply me with that service. Well, that's a great sponsor. That's great help.
That's a great sponsor.
It's some years
We have some of those at the zone.
yes, some of those are this year they might not spend $50. Next year they might spend $5,000, but they never gripe about it.
Yeah,
they take the good with the bad and they go on, and that helps so much. In like the fans, man, I tell racers all the time, go to the stands,
yes.
walk to the stands. I don't care if you run dead last. Walk to the stands. Them fans, man, they'll get you. You got people up there that love you. You run dead last every week.
Yeah.
They know your whole life story. You touch them. You don't understand the stories that people tell me. My dad, all he talks about is you racing. He's sick. He can't come. But every week, he asked me. And I'm like, dude, it's crazy. I'm nobody. I'm nobody. But
But you are now.
those fans they're something.
You don't know what you are now.
Love my fans. Yeah. Love my fans.
That's awesome. Okay. I got one more little question. Was Chris better than his car, or was the car a little bit better than Chris?
Well, I'm 99% positive there's never going to be a racer that says their car's better than them. I always say my car's better than me because I know my car's better than me. But how do you answer that?
Yeah.
I
Never thought about it, but yeah.
There's really no answer. It's a package. I don't care if you got
a team, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just a team. Your crew help. People don't realize what good your crew help is because I don't care if it's somebody that busts your tires, it's somebody that cleans the hauler, it's somebody that does anything that they do. It's all a team. And I tell my guys all the time, I say, listen, we won or we didn't win because if we wasn't here to help, we wouldn't be racing because I can't do it all by myself. I tried that. That don't work. I can't possibly do it. I can't. But I'm just on him. My car's always better than me. Always. But I did hear one man one time. He said something I read and I thought it was funny. His crew, he was griping about something about his car and he'd won. Mm-hmm. And his guy said, "Well, I don't know what you're griping about. You won." He said, and that car looked awful good going around there. He said, that car looked good because I made it look good. And it tickled me, But, I've had nights that I thought, my car's not real good. But then I drove it different, and it got good. And so, was my car bad or was I bad? So, it's just kind of like,
Well, in dirt, it's
dirt.
It's that way every week.
It's dirt.
To extent,
It's dirt. It's just
dirt racing in a nutshell. Okay, last word to you. Say anything you want to say.
Man, I got so much to say. just thank you all. That's all I say. Thanks. It's, I get teared up about it.
I know. It's all right.
It's a hard road to race these cars. To do this every week. We're doing something now I never dreamed I could do. I'm running this serious deal. I'm running really good. And I couldn't do it without my fans. I couldn't do it without my sponsors, my crew, my wife, my mama. All my help. Like, it don't matter if you buy one T-shirt or you just stand up there and cheer. Everybody's the same. It's all helps. And I'm really trying to make Claiborne County proud. I'm running in a series that the best of the best, and we're running good, and we do got a race at Tazewell, and I hope everybody shows up. It means a lot. We're at Bulls Gap next weekend. We're off this weekend, but we're at Bulls Gap next weekend, and then we start really ramping up races 3 or 4 times a month, and so we're going to see where we stand with the best and the best. And I really couldn't do it without all my help and people, and I just want to say thanks.
Yeah. Well, David, we'll be watching for you come back to Tazewell, and I may go to that race myself.
Listen, the mods haven't been to Tazewell in I think like 10 years or 12 years. And when they were there, they were way down on horsepower, and they didn't handle very well. And I think that people will be highly impressed of how fast they're going to be.
When there's over 12 of those on Tazewell, it's the best racing.
It's going to be, I think it's really going to be good because all the old guys are out. So there's like 1 or 2 guys left that's actually ever run a mod at Tazewell. So it's going to be good. And then Brad and them give us a good racetrack. I think you're going to see a show you've not seen in a long, long time.
All right. Looking forward to it. Yes. Thanks for coming down. I know it's hot in here, and it's a long way down, but I appreciate you. Thanks to our partners, First Century Bank, and all those watching. Please share this episode. And thanks for watching, and God bless.